Hello Seekers, welcome to Punneits Astrology, your one-stop astro channel. 2020 is now over and we all know that 2020 was a weird year. 2021 is very close and we all hope that 2021 becomes a new book where we can write our future. We can start from scratch and we can write what we want of ourselves. We can be what we think of being in this life and we can achieve what we are always trying to. With this hope, with this wish, let's begin the January 2021 guidance. What this 2021 January month holds, what are the planetary transits, and ascendant wise, what is the effect of this transit. The start of the year 2021 will see the transit of Mercury out of the sign of Sagittarius to the sign of Capricorn, and Venus will see the freedom from Ketu to the sign of Sagittarius. In the middle of January, Sun will make its move on a day of Makar Sankranti to the sign of Capricorn. Rahu, which is in the nakshatra of Mrigashira, will change its nakshatra to Rohini on 27th of January. This month is one unique month, the month that brings hope, and we are going to discuss in detail about this month. But before that, do not forget to hit like, subscribe and share and hit the bell icon so that you never miss another update. If you want to follow me on social media like Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, the link is in the description box below. For my consultations, you can drop me an email. The email ID is also in the description box below. So let's continue with the January 2021 guidance. Ascendant number 7, Libra Ascendant. Your Ascendant Lord is going in the 3rd house. Venus is right now with Ketu in the sign of Scorpio. So definitely this is not the good time with the relations of the family, with the way you speak, with the food that you eat, with the money that you have. It is cutting off the luxury from that area. You don't have a space to breathe. But now when the Venus will move in the sign of Sagittarius in the 3rd house, this means a short travel, a help from a sibling, a help from a brother-like or a sister-like relative, a friend will help you, will come in your rescue, and you will also be able to share your feelings and emotions to the person. Venus' presence in the 3rd house will aspect the 9th house also. The 9th house is in fact ruled by Mercury, and Mercury will be second from Venus in the sign of Capricorn in the beginning of 2021. Mercury will be also with the Sun during mid of 2021 January. So the first half of the January will be Sun and Venus, and the second half of the January will be Sun, Mercury, Saturn and Jupiter. That's the 4th house. So definitely it means that your communication towards your family should be non-egoistic. Your communication towards your family should be completely selfless. 4th house is also your car, so you have to be very careful while you are driving. You have to be careful while you are also at your home. The home accidents are a major cause of concern throughout the world, so you should be slightly careful about any minor accident happening at home. While being careful, you will not only safeguard yourself, but also safeguard other family members. Nothing critical, but just a small tip to prevent any kind of untoward incident that may happen during the month of January. With the 11th Lord going into the 4th house, definitely it means that whatever you will gain will be invested into property. So this is the good time to buy a new home. This is the good time to buy a new car, a new furniture, something that you can keep at your home that you can say are your assets or property. People who belong to hospitality industry, hotels, restaurants will see great spike in their business in this small particular transit, and this will give them the necessary financial boost. So financially this is going to be a fruitful transit for you. Not only that, in the month of January, you will see Mars being in the sign of Aries. When Mars is in the sign of Aries in the 7th house, this is a great boost for business, and with Mars in the 7th house and Venus in the 3rd house, it's good to initiate some sort of business related partnerships. This is good for marriage. This is good for creating enthusiasm in relations. You know, the feeling of void, that feeling of void will go away. Then the gaps will be fulfilled, and you will see that the happiness and the equilibrium that you were longing for will be achieved. The only thing that you must avoid is any kind of egoistic conversation, any kind of fight, quarrel, any kind of exercise of power, unnecessary exercise or abuse of power. That if avoided will give the best result. But if you are trying to abuse with your power, if you are trying to exercise your power, if you're trying to show off, then the Saturn will completely destroy the Lagna. The 10th aspect will be on the Ascendant. So it means what your family is saying, you have to follow that, you have to be with your family members, you have to listen to them, you have to be humble, you have to be gentle, you have to be polite. And this also means that you also have to go to some institution to help. Go to an old age home, go to an orphanage, try to help a lot of people as much as you can, whatever is in your potential, completely being safe from the effects of the disease that we have today. One more thing is to note in this case is that your 8th lord is also ruled by Venus. 8th house is Taurus, which is in the 3rd house, therefore 8th lord is Bhavat Bhavam. This means you will take initiatives, some creative, crafty initiatives to change or transform your life. So if you have a hobby, you should follow your hobby. This is the time you should follow your passion. At least if you're not making it as a source of income, try it on the side just to cultivate an interest, just as a co-curricular activity like we do in schools. Something that is done apart from the regular mundane work, and that will create happiness, peace and a joy in the life, and that will also give you a motivation to live, a way to go ahead and a way to enjoy the success that is lying in the future for you. Ascendant number 8, Scorpio Ascendant. Your Ascendant Lord is in the 6th house in the start of January 2021. When your Ascendant has Ketu in it, when your Ascendant Lord is in 6th house and your Ascendant goes into and watches the 1st house with the 8th aspect, that is something very unique. It means it goes to the enemy territory, watches the negativity at his own home, destroys it, kills it. That means you will address the negative areas of the life and you will remove the negativity from the life like never before. At the start of the month, Venus will move to the 2nd house, the house of Sagittarius. It will aspect the 8th house. The Amrit will come out. The Brit Sanjeevani energies will open up and you will see an immense movement of your life, and it's a kind of a blown away transit. The transit that will completely unlock you. It will sharpen you, it will remove the dead skin, it will reveal the glow inside. I'm not joking, the Mars energy is going to be intense at this point of time. The enemies, the negativity will just go away. It is the time when you become victorious. But remember, Rahu being in the 7th house and 7th lord being 8th from itself, you should be very careful about people who can talk negative about you, who can try to influence you negatively, who can try to derail your thoughts, who will try to manipulate you. Because if that is the case, then you will be trapped. Then you will listen to them, and when the karma is done, you can't really do anything about it. This is also the time when you can harm yourself. Because if Mars goes crazy, it can go into self-harm. So don't do that, because then Saturn, which is in the 3rd house, will stop you, block you. Whenever you will go into a process, when you are, it's like a karmic suicide, when you're trying to go ahead and there is a blockage ahead, Saturn in the 3rd house is going to stop. When the Sun goes into that house, that means when the Sun, which is the 10th lord, the lord of the house of father, the house of designations, the house of seniors, it goes into the 3rd house in the 14th of January, you will see that the Sun and Saturn conjunction will make a person of higher authority come and stop you from taking certain action. You will realize that you won't be able to flex your muscles. You won't be able to exercise your power the way you want. But if dealt carefully, if you are cautious about your actions, you will see that you are kind of guided in 2021. Also, you will see that the 12th lord is in the 2nd house. This means you will earn, by giving. When you give, you will get. The power of giving will define what you will get in the bank account, because the 12th Lord is third from itself. This means the charity is very much needed, the surrender is needed, and the devotion and dedication to Mahalakshmi is very much needed at this point of time. So chant the Lakshmi Gayatri mantra, Om Mahalakshmi cha vidmahe, Vishnu Patne cha dhimahi, Tanno Lakshmi prachodayat, just out of respect. And also pray to God that you don't know the process, you may not know the process, you may be wrong, but this is just a bhakti, just a devotion, just a surrender to Mahalakshmi, so that she blesses you with the divine possession of the divine fruits of karma, the positive fruits of karma. With Rahu in the 7th house and Venus going in the 2nd house, you may also have to be very attentive towards what your spouse is saying, what your life partner is saying, especially for the males. Because the word that is said by them, the suggestions that is given by them can really be life-changing for you. So try to give attention to detail there. And on the other hand, if you see the 8th Lord and your 11th Lord is Mercury, and Mercury goes into the 3rd house, which means there can be sudden unplanned travel to your native place, travel to the place of ancestral origin, travel because of some ancestral wealth is being transferred to you. So those kind of possibilities you can see in the month of January 2021. But you have to be slightly careful, because Mercury being the 8th Lord is also 8th from itself, so it's a Bhavat Bhavam here. So when Mercury is in Bhavat Bhavam, the finances has to be invested. So it's like reinvestment, not only of the karma, but also of the money. So if you're getting some funds, some money, that is an output of a previous investment, you should reinvest it, but carefully. When you are going to move your life, when you're going to move your thoughts, and when you are ready to change, when you are ready to shed off the skin, and when you are ready to become a new person, you will see 2021 giving you the best opportunities of life. Ascendant number 9, Sagittarius Ascendant. In case of Sagittarius Ascendant, you will see that the Saturn and Jupiter are in the 2nd house. Your Ascendant Lord will meet your 9th Lord Sun in the middle of 2021 January. Mercury, which rules your career and your marriage, that means your 10th house and the 7th house, will make its move from the sign of Sagittarius, that means from your Ascendant to your 2nd house. In a way, it's good for the career. It's going to make your career very productive. It's going to give you a lot of financial stability. Whereas in case of marriage, it's going to transform the way you talk in marriage, the way you communicate your marriage, the way you consume marriage. So marriage is going to be a very key factor for the Sagittarius Ascendant, and also the business. Both are going to be profitable, and it will give you an experience that you will utilize that experience into expanding your wealth in future. This is the time to invest more in your business. This is the time when the business will also repay you. Business will also give you the output of your investment. If you see the position of Venus, Venus is your 6th and the 11th Lord, and Venus will go on your Ascendant. That also means that you can have new loans coming up in the future. You can buy new things about that can improve the line of business that you are in. But this also means that this will carry some disputes, its share of problems and hurdles. You have to be very, very careful from this angle. You have to be very careful about your communication, what you are speaking. You have to be very, very precise in your action, and also precise in the way you proceed in the month of January, because there are 4 planets being formed in the 2nd house in the later half of January, and Rahu is in your 6th house. So when Rahu is in the 6th house and 6th Lord goes into the 1st house, it means that there can be few negative energies that may try to harm you. These energies are trying to reach you, and they are trying to find a way to reach you. You have to be totally protective in this case, and so you should chant Panchmukhi Hanumat Kavach. Any kind of Kavach of Hanuman, you can chant Ram Raksha Stotra, and these energies will help you to get rid of any kind of negative vibration. Ketu in the 12th house is making you spiritual, so you will gain spirituality at this time. Also, the position of Mars in the 5th house, which is the house of Aries, is strengthening your ascendant. Because Ketu is aspecting the 12th house, it is also making sure that through your productivity, through your efficiency, through the karma, you get rid of any kind of unnecessary losses. And you may be a victim of jealousy, you may be a victim of vengeance. So try to keep calm, try to not engage yourself into any kind of fight, try to stay away from the negative vibrations. Being optimistic is the best way forward in the month of January 2021, and you will see that January 2021 is going to give you a lot of success, lot of benefits. But yes, you have to be very careful about your expenses. You have to cut down on your expenses. There can be a religious travel. You can also travel to your ancestral place in the month of January. For all those people who have a quarrel in their home, the quarrel will calm down and home will see a very happy environment. So it is kind of a happy and protected month for you. Make the best use of it. Ascendant number 10, Capricorn Ascendant. Capricorn Ascendant is seeing the most benefic Saturn-Jupiter conjunction happening in the 1st house. The first lord is in 1st house. Your ascendant is gaining power. Your 6th house lord, which is Mercury, and your 8th lord, which is Sun, is also going to join the 1st house. So while you cross mid of January 2021, you will see 6th and 8th lord coming on the 1st house. This is somewhat you have to be careful about, because both 6th and the 1st and the 12th lord are in the 1st house. The most interesting aspect in this is that not only this is going to completely change the way you look into the life, but if you are in any of the Mahadasha, Antardasha of Mercury, Sun, Jupiter or Saturn, the impact will be enormous in the month of January. This is the time when this is the month where you have to be completely protective about yourself. 6th house is disease, enemies, 8th house is sudden ups and downs, 12th house is sudden losses. When it gets connected to the 1st house, that means you will have control on all the negative areas of the life. But to have the control on all the negative areas of the life, you will also have to spend a certain amount of energy, certain amount of life force. Mars, which is in the 4th house in the month of January, is definitely going to give you that strength. But Mars may also provide support from the family. But the quota of energy that will be spent will be huge. So my suggestion for the month of January, my understanding for you is that you should be relaxed. You should not try to spend too much of energy. Mars will definitely try to push, but you should be slightly laid back, slightly slow in taking your decisions. Because when you're slow, the energy will be conserved, preserved and used in the correct way. And on the other hand, you will get the right decisions of the life. Venus, which is also the 10th lord, is also going to be in the 12th house. So this also shows transformation in career. Very few people can see the negative aspect of the Venus transit in the 12th house. But naturally, 12th house is the house of exaltation, the natural 12th house. So Venus shows expenses. So if you have a career which is like where you have to invest money, or you are trying to start something of your own, this is the time when you spend money and try to build something. But remember, because the 6, 8 and 12 houses are on the 1st house, whatever you do, you have to maintain extreme caution. Health is an area where you have to be completely sure of. Health is simply cannot be ignored in the month of January. Even if you have slight disturbance, slight problem, take necessary precautions for it. If you are taking all these precautions, if you are going slow, January is going to be a great learning and a great experience. And try to take it as a leisure time, enjoy the life, go for a vacation, be safe, be healthy, and you will see the best in the month ahead in 2021, because 2021 has great to offer, much to offer to you. For chanting, what I will suggest you is chant Shani Chalisa, you can chant Hanuman Chalisa, you can pray to Lord Vishnu. That will bring a lot of positivity and the power and the essence. And by praying to Hanuman, the Mars will get energized and the vital force will improve. Ascendant number 11, Aquarius Ascendant. Saturn, which is your Ascendant Lord, will be in the 12th house in the month of January. Mars will be in your third house, giving you the necessary strength, the power to execute the task. The courage will be all-time high. Also, Mars' 8th aspect will fall on the 10th house, so which means that from the career perspective, this is going to be a decisive time. You may take some challenging and bold decisions with respect to career, with respect to designation. This is the time when you can plan your career, plan your 2021 and plan the strategy. Any kind of conflicts with the younger brother will be resolved in this time frame, and you should also avoid any kind of quarrels, especially if it is because of property with your brothers and the family members in this time frame. January 2021 is a month of planning, and this is the month to decide what is there in store for you for 2021 and take 15-20 days to chalk out the entire blueprint of how you can live a very happy and prosperous and successful life in 2021. Mercury, along with Venus in the first week of January, will move in the sign of Capricorn, while Venus will move out from Scorpio to the sign of Sagittarius. These two movements are going to be a very strong, decisive movement because Mercury and Venus are your 5th and 9th lord. So definitely the two trine lords are going to have a shift, which is also going to give you a very huge shift in life. Mercury's presence in the 12th house shows that for education purpose or because of your children, because to improve productivity of your life, you will endure long distance travel. You will have to go to a foreign country, and in case of travel related to education, you can go and acquire some sort of information or maybe plan to move out of your comfort zone, to go into a distant place, maybe a place outside the country, maybe a place of opposite culture, to take up the education that you always want. So this is a good time to upgrade yourself, upgrade your skills. Not only that, if you see, the 8th lord is also Mercury, and 8th lord is in the 12th house. So when 8th lord goes into the 12th house, it creates Vipareet Raj Yoga. This Vipareet Raj Yoga is going to give you an extreme push, the much necessary push, but this also means that Mercury, which means communication, out of the scenario where the communications are not proper, you have to connect the dots, and while you connect the dot, you create a new scenario for yourself, and that gives you a new opportunity. So when you are not getting the complete picture, try to build a picture by yourself, try to take the initiative, try to be more proactive in this case, and especially in the career perspective and the perspective which is related to finances, investment, this is going to be a good thing. But because 8th lord is also house of investment and 12th house is something that goes away, it also shows that your investment can also go away because it can be spent possibly to travel, possibly for leisure, possibly for education, but you have to also plan this expense. When you will plan your expense, the investment will be fruitful, the investment will be worthy, but otherwise it can result into an unexpected loss, an unexpected expense. When Mercury is going in the 12th house, you have to also try to donate books, try to donate education to poor children, because Mercury is education, Mercury is also information. So you should also try to spread information, the positive ones, and try to spread positivity around you. This is going to give you a great insight into your own life because of Ascendant Lord, which is Saturn, is also along with the 8th Lord Mercury. Now coming to the position of Sun, which is going to also go into the 12th house, it is very important with respect to business and marriage. This can create a distance in marriage. This can create a scenario where your marriage can actually go into a difficult situation, because 7th Lord is going in the 12th house during mid of January to mid of February. In the meanwhile, the 8th house Lord is also going in the 12th house. Fight with the in-laws, fight because of property, fight because of money, fight because of indifference, fight because of ego. All this is possible for Aquarius Ascendant people. So you have to be very careful when the question comes about marriage. From the perspective of money, already the 2nd Lord is in the 12th house, the 8th Lord is in the 12th, going in the 12th house. So with respect to money and finances, what you have to do is you have to plan your investment and try to block your money for a longer duration of time. Short-term investment can be can give you a loss, but the long-term investment will be worthwhile because Mars in the third house is going to give you the necessary strategic information. So you will plan your way, you will build up the energy and build up your thoughts, and your thoughts will be coherent in this time. And if you are planning and executing, the money is going to come not immediately, but at least you will lay out a foundation which will give you the money in the future. From the health perspective also, if you see, your moon, which is the sixth lord, is of very prime importance. If you are under Sadhisati, if you are under Moon Mahadasha, Moon Antardasha, you need to be careful in the month of January with respect to health purpose. Because 8th lord going in the 12th house with 6th lord coming into some sort of affliction can prove not so good for the health perspective. It's just that you need to be careful. It's more related to mind, so mind will be disturbed, and you may either quit a lot of things or you may actually take up the load of lot of responsibility. Either of them is wrong. Try to maintain a harmony, a balance in your life, and you will see the good days in the month of January. Ascendant number 12, Pisces Ascendant. Pisces Ascendant is an ascendant whose ascendant lord is in the 11th house, debilitated, Neech Bhang. Just you have seen the grand conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. Well, Saturn rules your 11th house, and so first and 11th lord being in the 11th house is itself a big Raj Yoga, but it also shows clarification of expectations. Mercury, which will move in the sign of Capricorn, rules two major houses. It rules the 4th house and the 7th house. So it rules your family, it rules your comfort zone, it rules the property, the home, and the 7th house, which is marriage, business. Two prime central Kendra Bhav controlled by Mercury goes in the 11th house with Jupiter. It's a very learning time. It's a time where you learn through your own expectations. But you can't learn through your expectation unless you do it, execute it. So whatever you want to do in life, obviously after judging the consequence of your karma, you should execute in the month of January. But do a POC, because Saturn is there and Jupiter is debilitated. You should take a small step, do a POC, see if it works out. If it works out, it will work out in a greater scale. But if it is blocked in the POC itself, that means you have to go back to the drawing board and maybe take a new approach, take a different pathway, learn from the mistakes, because Saturn is about learning. Learn from the mistakes, and you will only learn when you will try to fulfill your expectations, because 11th house is house of gain. If nothing comes from 11th house, the experience will also not come. This also means you are going to gain a lot of life-like experiences, which also means that you will be put into a certain circumstance, different for different people, where things will be slightly difficult. Things will not be that easy for you. Don't take it in a negative way. Take it like an experience. Take it like a challenge, and you should be like, okay, fine. If I've got this situation, I will try my best and we'll see what happens. That is the approach that you have to take in the month of January. Mars goes in the second house. It has already gone in the second house, and the entire month of January until 22nd of February, Mars will be in the second house, aspecting the 5th, 8th and 9th house. This Mars is very auspicious, especially for finances, because this is going to give you a lot of enthusiasm. This also shows that you should open up a new bank account if you don't have one. You should try to open up a new venture. Mars in the second house also shows that there will be enthusiasm and joy and laughter in the family. You should go with a family trip when it is safe. You should have a family get together safely. And you should also take care of the money, because money, second house is the bank balance, and when Mars goes into that house, it's a fight for money. So when the 11th house has a restriction of Saturn and the second house has the growth of Mars, this means that money will come, but you need to have patience. So it's like a soldier trying to hit the target, but he cannot just keep on hitting the target and hoping that it will hit. It should be a bull's eye. It should be a shot with a perfect aim at a perfect time. So you have to wait for that time. That means you will become successful, but maybe after a couple of attempts. So the number of attempts in 2021 should be increased, and it should be increased holistically without unnecessary trying something which is not happening. Also, the presence of Venus out of the sign of Scorpio and it goes into the sign of Sagittarius is going to be very, very fruitful for you. Because Sagittarius is your 10th house, and if you look at Venus, Venus is your 8th lord. 8th lord goes into the 10th house, change of career, sudden transformation in the way you are respected in the society, you are seen in the society. This also shows that promotion is on the cards if that is something that you're waiting in the month of January, or at least you should pitch for that. When you pitch for that in January, it will result in the near future. So whatever happens in January, the result will come later. That is the only thing that is you can call negative for the sign of Pisces. But overall, if I say that this is going to be a very positive time frame, you will see this positivity in the upcoming months. 2021 is the time frame where you collect your karma so that you can reap the benefits in future. For marriage, you don't need to worry much, but you have to be very practical. Sometimes change the way you want the marriage to happen, change the way you want the marriage to proceed in the future. The ideology will be different in this time frame. You will be forced to rethink on a lot of things. Mars in the second house also says that you have to be polite in your voice, otherwise your words can be very harsh, which can actually hurt somebody. Good for motivational speaker, good for people who deals with the matters of the second house like hotel industry, banking, finance, soldiers, law enforcement agencies. But Mars in the second house is also the speech, is also the food. So you have to be careful about eating high calorie food or speaking too much. Unnecessary speaking has to be avoided in this time frame, and utilize the second house Mars in chanting Hanuman mantra. Om Ham Hanumate Namah. Chant this mantra or chant Hanuman Chalisa 3 times every day to make this Mars speak all the divine words. When the Mars will speak the divine words, you will see that Mars, which is one of the very important zodiac for you, is going to give you a lot of positivity, because Mars rules your 9th house, it rules your second house, it rules the destiny, it rules money, and it is in the second house. Good for you. And from the perspective of any kind of legal issue, because Pisces will see Sun moving in the 11th house, 6th lord going 6th from itself, you have to be careful. You have to be careful from falling into any kind of trap. You should be careful from frauds and deceits. You should be careful from any kind of cheating, legal cheating, any kind of unnecessary case being thrown up to you. You should also be careful about any kind of unnecessary accusations. If that happens at all, you have to deal it in a very practical manner. Don't react to the situation, give a proper response, take your time, because if you become reactive, then it will only hurt you. But overall, for Pisces Ascendant, it's a wait and watch period for the month of January. And if you are successful in doing that, if you're successful in putting the attempts, 2021 is a wonderful year for you. So that was the analysis for all ascendants for the month of January 2021. This is a guidance, and I hope this guidance helps you. And I wish you the very, very best, happy and prosperous 2021. And I wish all the success and the wisdom, not only to you, but also to your family members. Thank you for watching Punneit's Astrology. This is your host Punneit. Till then, Namaste.